day, where we dive into some of the aspects and some of the people who helped shape the culture for which Nigeria is famous all over the world for now. And I'm not talking about 419 or Yahoo or any of that stuff. I'm talking about the good stuff here. I'm talking about the music industry that has put our name on the map. And I have a gentleman with me today. Of course, you can already see him. Let me hog the spotlight for a bit while I talk about him behind his back. All right, now this gentleman, um, when he was a youth, while he was still a university student, he set up a record label. He called it Point Blank Records. He's the brain behind Out of Bounds. And this was a movie starring the legendary Richard Mofe Damijo, otherwise known as RMD. And he put together the soundtrack for that movie. And that period, it won an award. I think that was the first time any such thing. It was unprecedented at that time. He's also a businessman. He's dabbled into oil and gas, even sports, among other things. So I'm going to introduce to you my friend, my buddy, the one and only Leslie Oghomienor. How you doing, man?
Not
Great to
bad,
have you
bro.
here.
How you doing? Yeah, thanks.
Now,
Thanks for the opportunity.
all right. So I didn't mention that you're also an artist. So let's take it from that point. So tell us a bit about your stint as an artist and what is it you did back in the day that makes you a focal point in what we have today.
Oof, man, you're taking me way back.
Oh yes, I am.
We're going back. We're going back like a winding. What's it called? A time machine back.
I hope I didn't blindside you.
No, you
So
didn't. But
tell us, where did it all
you're
start
taking me.
from?
Well, it started off like me being my love for music. I loved music as a kid, and I
Hmm.
listened to music a lot. I can
Yeah.
remember as young as when I was like 9, 10, I used to put headphones
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
with these four, these stereos they call 4-in-1. We had that in our house that had the cassette player, the cartridge, the record player, and
Hmm.
the radio. So they call it
Yeah.
4-in-1. And I used to like put these headphones on my head and play record after record.
Hmm.
Besides that,
Yeah.
my brother was he's much older than me, and he was
Yeah.
much into parties and stuff like that. So I always played the records when they were not around. I used to play the records, listen to them,
Hmm.
and everything. And my
Yeah.
brother too was also very popular. And I'm putting my brother in this picture because I guess he started up a lot of all of this because his
Yeah.
friends used to come around. They had parties. They had people around. They used to dance
Hmm.
and listen to music. Our house was a focal point in Sulere in Lagos when I was growing up. And my brother was in King's College at that time. And then he used to come with all his friends. And they used to play a lot of music. That's number one. So when
Yes.
I got into secondary school myself,
Hmm.
I became what I was practicing at home. I used to listen to music a lot. I started dancing a lot because I used to take those dances I saw my brother's friends do, go to
Yeah.
school and dazzle them because I schooled in Federal Government College, Enugu. And in Government College, Enugu, they don't get the music on time. We get it in Lagos, and then from Lagos they ship it to Enugu. So before they
So
even
so
get the
you are
dancers,
so basically you are one of the cool kids.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We were the kids that people looked up to for latest trends, for fashion,
Of
for
course,
music,
one of
for
the happening
dance.
guys. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, I even got the nickname Shoemaster because I had so many shoes that time. So people
Hmm.
called me all kinds of names. But then the music thing was there, but then I was more of a dancer. And then we used to
Yes.
perform at shows. And I remember the first record that came out in 1979, which was Sugar Hill Gang,
Let's take
you
it back
know?
to 79.
Yes, right. So in 79, Sugar Hill Gang came out with Rapper's Delight. I got a
Can you
letter from
rap
my
that
sister.
song? Can you still rap that
Hold on a minute.
song?
Yeah, I can give you a part of it. But in 79, my sister wrote me a letter. You remember those days letters used to like a letter will fly for
They
like
were
2 weeks before it gets to the
they
point,
were
and then it take on
valuable.
that 2 weeks to get back,
They meant
to where it
something.
was. So my immediate elder sister, we were quite close, and she used to write me
Hmm.
letters and then tell me which songs were happening then.
Hmm.
And then she wrote me a letter and told me that there was this song called Rapper's Delight that I need to listen to it. And I couldn't wait for the
Yeah.
holidays to get back home to watch to listen to Rapper's Delight. Now my brother
Hmm.
and there was another guy that lived upstairs. They had all these records, so I listened to it, and it was fascinating. It wasn't anything I listened to. Now all the records I used to listen to when I was a kid, there were many reggae records. Uroy,
Hmm.
Iroy, because those are the things that were happening in Nigeria at that point. It was reggae. But the reggae
Yes.
DJs, Uroy, Iroy, Tapazuki, I can call quite a few names of the artists that was the DJ thing just came into Jamaica after Bob Marley. Bob Marley was still around even
Hmm.
then. Bob Marley was around, but the
Yes.
Uroy and Co started rapping on what's it called now? On instrumentals. So I
That's
was
what they call the
fascinated by
sound
the way
system,
those.
right?
Yes, the sound system was just forming at that time. But at first, yes, it was the sound system because it was the DJ from the sound system. When the record has a break, they rap on it. Then later on in reggae, they
Hmm.
started adding instrumentals after
Now,
the singing because of the DJs.
now,
But
now,
initially, it was the
now, let me
break in
come in
between
here.
the two. Yeah, come in.
You said they would rap on the breaks in the records, which is
Yeah,
basically how rapping started. But
that's
these
right.
were Jamaicans, and this was
Right. You
before
get
Cool Herc did what he
right
did in the
be-
Bronx, right?
before Cool Herc. Cool Herc is a
So
Jamaican.
a lot of people don't
So
recognize that this is what actually gave birth to hip hop.
yes, now let's even go back a bit. The Jamaicans
Yeah,
started doing that because of what they saw that James Brown and co were doing. So there was some kind of some rub off there. James
there was some
Brown was the
synergy. Yeah.
biggest thing. He had this kind of singing style that looked like he was rapping at some point. And so the DJs,
Mm.
when they play, when there's a break, they make announcements. And the announcements, they started making these announcements rhyme. And after making the announcements rhyme, they now turn it into a rap. And then the record producer starts thinking, okay, let's make a DJ version, an instrumental. So that's the
Yeah.
evolution from just listening to the song to the breaks and then to the instrumentals. And that formed the sound
Yeah.
systems because when they had the instrumental version, sound systems formed. So the DJs
Hmm.
all came together. And then when there's a version, like they called it back in those days, the guy will rap.
Yeah.
And
I
Uroy
think they
was one
still
of the
call it
first
that, don't
guys.
they?
Sorry,
They still
what did
call
you
it
say?
version, don't they?
Yeah, yeah, still version, but not as much as before. Now, people like Uroy, Dillinger, Tapas, and all those guys were the first guys that used to do that. And then Uroy was one of the first guys that actually put it on record as the version of the original. So they'll take
Yeah.
something like the Mighty Diamonds. Have
Hmm.
mercy on a good man, and then he starts to rap on top of that song. So they use the chorus sometimes, and sometimes don't use the chorus. Sometimes they just rap on it, without the chorus, or sometimes they put their own chorus.
Now,
That was the
now,
evolution.
now, the rap you're talking about here, because what most people think of as rap today is totally different. So, could you just point us out in which direction you're going with this? What exactly did it sound like?
Yeah,
I
it
know
was more like
I'm not trying
they
to put
called
you
it
on the spot.
chanting. No, no, you're
Yes.
right. You're right because it was called
So what it
chanting
is,
then.
so that some of
It was called
our people who are watching this, so that they understand that you don't mean the rap that they know today.
no, 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 no way. It was even called chanting. Like
So what did it
they were
sound
not
like?
called. They were called DJs, and they were chanting. If you listen to Uroy, have mercy, something he has a way, some mercy, some mercy, some mercy. Why? He had his own way. Now all that
Yeah,
why he was doing, it was similar to James Brown. Now if you go back
that's
to
very
James Brown,
true.
exactly.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
Uroy was like a James Brown, but he had more words than Jamaican words because prior to all of this, there was a lot of influx of American music, American soul music in Jamaica too at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So his rap seemed like he was like another kind of James Brown, but he was saying it in their own way and using the version of the music that developed the reggae music that was in Jamaica. So
Yeah.
that was what
So
Roy
basically,
was doing.
mhm,
Dillinger was doing the same
yeah.
thing. Iroy was another copy of Leroy, but they started having their own records. DJs started having their own records now. This is the second stage. DJs started making their own records, their own versions of the
Uh,
singing.
let me come in here. One
Yeah,
dread, two dread, sitting on a CP 200. Which one of those guys is that?
that's Dillinger. I say
Oh,
200,
okay.
you better show me
Okay,
your
so
natty dress.
at least I know a bit of that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was what I was listening to when I was 9, 10 years old, thereabout.
Mm.
CB200 was a hit smash. That was the
Yeah,
album
I remember
by
that song.
Dillinger. Yeah.
Although
So
I never heard
CB200
it till the
DJs
80s though.
now, instead of just playing Bob Marley like roots rock reggae, there was a
Hmm.
different thing now. That was a rap style out
And you
of
didn't
what
need a
they had.
band.
They didn't need the what?
And you didn't need a band. And you didn't need a band.
No, no, no. You need the band, of course. So now the sound systems formed because of that. Because all you needed was records and the version
Yes.
and your rap.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the evolution into that. I listened to that as a kid. So when Rappers
Okay.
Delight came out, I didn't know that on the ground they had Cool Herc the Jamaican and the rest of these guys going to
Mm-hmm.
Jamaica and fine tuning it for their own audience too, making it into American English or Black people's English.
So all this stuff came from that little island. I don't know. I'm being such a Nigerian now. You know, we always like to refer to places as little. So
And
it
listen
comes from
here.
that little island.
So
It's amazing. I
exactly.
think they
So
have a
he
huge.
came out.
I
They
think that
just about
island
three
has a
million people.
huge. They have a huge footprint though, massive.
No, but El, if you really think about it, sorry to just divert a bit. Even in Nigeria, the people that actually give
Yes,
Nigeria the image are not up to 3 million people.
of course. No, but when it comes to like real human achievement, it's usually like less than 1%, 0 point
Thank
something
you.
percent of the population that does it
Exactly.
anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it doesn't matter
And
if you
it's
have
not
a
even all the
billionaire.
Jamaicans. It was people like these guys who have
Of course
mentioned.
not.
We have mentioned Dillinger,
Of
we
course not.
mentioned Uroy,
So
Iroy,
so
Bob
that's
Marley.
so those that's where you got your roots from. But let's talk about when you became more active on the scene here.
Yeah, so I started off dancing because my brother's friends had the latest dances. They knew how to dance, and they were
Everyone do
cool.
that. Everyone did that
In this, yeah,
except
so
me.
I was more of
I
like
can't dance. I can't dance to save my life, so I had to stay out of
now.
that. But everyone tried that.
No, no, but I was good. I mean, if you ask anyone that went to my federal school when I was there, I was the crown prince of the dance thing.
Okay.
But then, but then when I left school, when I left secondary school, I started listening again. This time it was Yellowman now. It was Yellowman's era. So I used to listen to Yellowman a lot. And then one day I was telling myself that, look, when Yellowman goes with the version, I go with my own version. I used to do that every day in my house to enjoy myself while waiting for jam. And then one day, this guy was passing by my house, a guy called Chuzi Moses, who lived
I know
down my
him.
streets. He lived like 3 houses away from me. And then Chuzi comes to my house and says, "Man, you're always playing this vibe." And then he heard me vibing to it, the instrumental. Well, like,
Now,
man, you must be very good.
for those who don't know, could you tell us who Chuxi Moses is?
So Chuzi came to my house. Even the name Chuzi Moses, I was the one that gave him that name. But we'll go into that. So Chuzi comes to my house and tells me that, man, that he knows some guys that are around Fadeyi at not Fadeyi, is it Fadeyi? At Bobby Benson Hotel. That those guys can jam a lot and that I should come and have a look. So I said, oh, why not?
That's around.
Before that time, some other guy had taken me to see some group. Um, they were called Hotline. Yes, they had this
Mm-hmm.
boy. You know, there was some time in Lagos. They had Ofege. They had this Hotline. Hotline were a group of guys from Sulere. So I went to this Hotline guy's place and I saw what they were doing. They were trying to recreate kind of like R&B funk kind of thing, exactly like the way it is from America. So I went there, watched a few of their things there, and one of them opened a studio. I think the guy's name is Kessler or Kesley. I can't remember. It starts with a K. He was one of the band members, and he had a studio. And then he had some rappers that were rapping the American style. So I watched them a bit, and I went back to my house. They didn't really care much about somebody that was trying to rap in the ragga way, in the hip hop way. There was a guy also that I
I
met
can
there
relate
during
to
that
that.
period. Yeah, they didn't care. Then I met a guy there also called BJ. I've forgotten it. Bidemi Johnson. Bidemi Johnson
Mm-hmm.
he ended up in Sweat. There's a group called Sweat that was
Yeah.
formed by Max Benson later on.
Yes.
But I met BJ at that studio, K Studio or something I've forgotten. That's where BJ lived there. He came back from England, and BJ was a replica of Leroy. If BJ picks
Mm-hmm.
up the mic, BJ will sound exactly everything, the voice, the tone,
Now,
the inflections of Leroy. That was BJ.
is that a good
That
or a bad thing?
well, I didn't really know whether it was good or bad that time, L. It was more about wow, this guy can do Leroy. You know, at
It
that
was
stage we were all
fascinating.
mimicking. We were all
Yeah.
kids and we were all mimicking stuff. So we
Mm-hmm.
didn't expect any. It wasn't like he was rapping Uroy. No, but
Mm-hmm.
he can rap like Uroy. He wasn't rapping
Yeah.
Uroy's lyrics. That's a different thing. But he was
I
so
get it.
good, and
Mm-hmm.
he was like the A&R at that K studio. I don't know what's. So anyway, that was it. I went there once and I didn't go. And then Chuks Moses comes to my house one day. I knew him as Chuks around my neighborhood. He lived 3 houses away from me and told me that he wanted me to go with him to Fadage Bobby Benson's place. So we went to Bobby Benson's place, and that was where I met Majek for the first time. Majek was
Oh, the
um,
legendary Majek Fashek.
the legendary Majek. So Majek was like a band member. They were playing music, and there was a guy, Max Benson, one of Bobby Benson's sons, called Yemi Benson, had a band,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
and that band and Max they put a band because it's a music family. So Max and
Mm-hmm.
Co they had different bands. They had a girl band called Swalk, Sealed with a Loving Kiss. It was a girl band. We may
I
afford
know
anything
that
and
group.
some other people. Yeah, that was back in those days. And then Majek and Co. So at that point, they were preparing for Bob Marley's Day, which was May 11th.
Mm-hmm.
May 11th, 83 or 84. I'm not sure, but May 11th. So
Yeah.
when they were preparing, they had this artist called Boye Benro. Boye Benro was a cartoonist on one of these newspapers, and he became an artist. And
Okay.
they were preparing. They were preparing. He was performing on stage, and on that day also we had this guy called Ogene Kolobo from. He used to play
Ooh.
with Fela. Ogene Kolobo was the
Okay.
rhythm guitarist for Fela. So Majek and Amos Jeg and there was a keyboardist for Jazzsticks. Their group was called Jazzsticks.
Mm-hmm.
They were one of the first reggae
Yeah.
groups in Nigeria. So they were performing and they were trying to
Yes.
back up Boye and they were trying to prepare for the May 11th show. And I went in there and then Chooks introduced me and said, hey, this is my friend from Jamaica. He can rap.
Yeah.
So my check and coach said, okay,
Mm-hmm.
why not? Let's hear him. And then they gave me a rhythm. And of course, me, I've been
Yes.
rhyming in my house. So I just started rapping on it. And I said, yeah, man, this guy is cool.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you should come on May 11th so that you perform on the show. May 11th, I
Mm-hmm.
went there after rehearsing a lot in my house. And when we went there on that day, I didn't perform. What I did was I eventually did was playing the conga.
Ooh.
And do you know why? Because
Why?
because when I got there, they ran out of time. They didn't start on time. Boye spent a long time. Jackson spent a long time. So at the end of the day, my jack just told me that, hey, can you play this? So I just went on the conga and started playing the conga on that show. So I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't happy that I didn't perform. So after the show, I sat down in Bobby Benson. I was just hanging around. They they had a party also. DJ and they had a party. Then Chooks now told me, why don't we go to Unilag? I said, what's happening in Unilag? He said there's one guy that's playing the kimono. I said, I've heard that name before. He said kimono is doing sound system that I should go to kimono show. I said, okay, why not? So we went to Unilag
Yeah.
at the Lagoon front behind the Senate building. That's where kimono set up
Mm-hmm.
his equipment.
They used
And
to
then,
do events there in those days.
yeah, so kimono was rapping and was playing sound system. Kimono was doing sound system and he was also a member of Jazztics. But on that day,
Yeah.
at that time, kimono was at Lagoon front. So I
Okay.
stood there for a while. I don't think Chooks knew kimono that well, also, but at the we're behind the deck. We're just standing with kimono. Then after a while, kimono now said, "Hey, who can flash rhythm here?" So I said, "Yeah, I can," and I took the mic.
Flash it.
And then,
Is that what that means? Flash it.
yeah, that's what it means to flash the mic. So I started flashing.
Okay, I've heard that before.
Yeah, exactly. So I started flashing.
Mm-hmm.
And Kimono was like, wow, who's this guy? Where's he from? So after I flashed, Chuxley had been also testing the mic in my house. We didn't have a mic, he was just testing himself on it. So Chuxley kept going on the mic, and then he was just, flashing also. After the show, Kimono now
Yeah.
told us that, oh yeah, he's got this nightclub they're trying to start up in Lawanson. Whether I'll be interested in coming over and to see that they're launching this nightclub, blah blah. That place was called um, something bamboo. I'll try to remember the name. Bamboo Ghetto. That's right. That place was called Bamboo Ghetto. Different from Kaban Bamboo, which was the one for Bobby Benson. This one was called Bamboo Ghetto. It was on Interior Road on Lawanson. And then we went for the lunch. I met somebody that was also very important in that I must mention in this interview, who was the sound system owner. His name is Charles Atta. We call him Daddy C. Charles Atta was a corporate guy. He owned his own business. He ran a computer firm. He was the first company that
Mm-hmm.
brought computer counting devices to Nigeria. Very respectable guy. But he loved reggae so much. And he used to attend dance halls in the UK. So he was Kimono's
Mm.
backbone. And we'll get back to that again later.
Okay.
So it was Kimono's backbone. That was the first time I met him. So he was the one in fact, all Kimono's career, Charles Atta was in it. Massive Dread, sound system.
Okay.
I'll go back to that.
Now it seems like you have a lot to say here, and I don't know how much time we're gonna have.
Oh, really?
So I think we're gonna have to do a part two of this.
Okay.
For me, I'm having fun. I love this. However, we're broadcasting to people who have short attention spans,
Okay.
if you know what I mean.
Right.
So I figured if we do it too long, they might miss out on some of the
Okay.
info.
So guide me. Guide
So
me.
let's cut the chase and just tighten it up a little bit, and let's go to the part where he started actively, getting in on the scene, on the music scene. Just describe. We're not going to have enough time. I think we really need to do a part two if you can spare us the time. So let's just end this
Yeah.
by going into how your active participation in the scene,
L. L. I
as
was already
regards,
there. That's
people
where
that
I
you
am now.
know. Yeah.
That's exactly where I am. So you see, that
Okay.
bamboo ghetto was the formation of the first sound system in Nigeria.
Yes.
Myself, BJ from that other group, and
Mm-hmm.
and Kimono, we were the ones
Yeah.
that became the resident DJs and a guy called Ricky. Three of us, four of us were the
Mm-hmm.
guys that used to go there all the time. And then after
Okay.
a while, after a short while, something happened and we stopped going there, and then we all dispersed. In between that time, Kimono will come to my house and tell me, "Oh, we've got a show in Ogun State. Let's go to Ogun State University. Let's go here. Let's go there."
Okay.
Then later on, Charlie again set up a nightclub, a reggae nightclub. The first reggae dancer. Okay, no, not the first. The second one. The first one was the one Floating Booker by Adeniji Adele. He's a royal prince. I've forgotten his first name. Bade is a king now in Lagos State. His name is Bade Oyekon. He's the son of the king. He had this ship or boat rather on top of the sea at Marina. So it
Mm-hmm.
was called the Floating Puka. During the day, they
I like
sell
that.
food. At night, it was a dancehall thing because it was a reggae guy.
I love it.
Yeah, it was beautiful. So when they had the problem, because Charlie used to attend Floating Booker, when they had the problem, Charlie now set up Rockers FM. In Rockers FM, we now had a group of us that now formed a team. And that team
Mm-hmm.
was now the first sound system. And in this first sound system, I'll call the names. It was Raskimono, it was myself, known as Colin Leslie that time, and then a guy called Papa
Colonel
D.
Leslie, salute.
So myself, Kimono, and a guy we met during one of our clashes. We had a clash in Osuru at one time with another DJ. His name is Papa D. Theodania, that's his real
Mm-hmm.
name. Theo just came from the UK and we had a clash. But I felt it was so good. And when we were going to set up that sound system, I suggested to Kimono
Yeah.
and Co. that we need to get Papa D in. Papa D lives in the UK now. So we got Papa D, myself, Kimono, and Ricky. And then we had a selector called Monyaka and Donji, who was the guy that was supposed to be on this program.
Yeah.
Now, that was the first time that we started up the sound system. And we did the sound
Mm-hmm.
system for a couple of years, doing shows in Unilag and Co. Artists like Bucci, they were our promoters. He wasn't an artist at that time. He was just a promoter.
Yeah.
He used to promote us in Unilag and Co. Now, forward next, the next thing, my mom found out that I was more into music than I was trying to write my jam. Now, this is what made me go into music in the first place, waiting for jam, and the jam kept on being prolonged because of my music ideas and career. So I spent three
So
years just chilling at home,
so
chasing music.
so while waiting for jam, you decided to jam.
Yeah, I like that. I was
So
jamming on it.
you still
This of
do
me to
jam
be
in any
jamming on it.
place. Yeah,
So
you're
yeah,
still
so,
jamming.
eventually I decided. My mom told me, okay, drop everything else, read for your exams, and I was a science student, physics,
Mm-hmm.
chemistry, biology.
Yes.
So
Mm-hmm.
eventually I got into Jos, and when I got into Jos, I tried to lay low, but Kimono had evolved into a big star at this point because when it was me and Kimono, we used to
Yes.
walk around,
Yes.
etc., etc. And Kimono had become a big star. So Kimono used to come over when he had a show in Jos, so come over to wherever I was staying, and
Mm-hmm.
then we'll go to the show together, enter the entrance, but I couldn't come out into music. And now it became 92. Because this story I'm telling you started from 1983. At 92, what struck me that time, I was like, okay, nothing music. I just like focus on being a career guy, making some money and all that.
Mm-hmm.
92, Death Row came out, Dr. Dre came out with the Chronic. And I was like,
Oh yeah.
God damn it. What is this? That struck me, L. That album struck me. I listened to it for a long time. And then Snoop Dogg came out in
So
93.
did I.
And I was like,
You weren't
man.
the only one.
I said, yeah, okay, yeah, I agree. So, and then in 93, I was like, who are these guys? 93, this Snoop Dogg must be something else. So, what I used
So
to
you
do, because
didn't
back in the days,
you didn't
yeah,
yeah. Go ahead.
so back in the days, in my
Mm-hmm.
rap styles, I also
Yes.
used to rap in Yoruba at a point. I had the
Mm-hmm.
5, 6 line rapper jammer. You know the kind of things
Yeah.
like you being a performer.
Yeah.
You have some lyrics that you know that if I throw these lyrics into the crowd, they're gonna scream.
Yes.
So mine
I
was
feel
some
you.
Yoruba rap. It was a Yoruba rap that you had to listen to it to know I was rapping in Yoruba.
Okay. So
And
you
I
used
used
to
to
speak
jam that.
Yoruba.
Yeah.
All right. You know what?
On the
We've
yeah.
we've actually done this for longer than we expected to. Like I said, we're broadcasting to an audience that doesn't have a very long attention span. So
Okay.
I think we better bow out here, and then we'll get together and just pick it up from where we left off. And you understand what I'm saying,
Sure.
so we can keep the crowd going. You know, when you're the
Sure.
DJ, sometimes you play short records and you play each record for 2 minutes so that you don't lose the crowd. So that's what we're doing
Sure.
now.
Sure.
So we're gonna take off this record and put another one so that we don't lose the crowd. All right.
Okay. Cool.
So it's been
Yeah. Sure.
great talking to you. I've had fun. I hope you had fun as well. So let's do this some other time. Maybe we'll get together and just do a part two of this and continue from where we left off, from the point where you were in university and you set up that record label. Yeah, we can get into that. So thanks so much
That's
for
where
your
we are.
time, and
Right.
we'll do this again real soon. All right. So that's my man Leslie Oghomienor. Um, he was a prodigy when he was in college, and we're going to get into that in part two of this. So don't miss it. Now, if you had fun and you were able to learn a couple of things about what happened back in the day in the Nigerian music landscape, and you'd like to know more, all you have to do is give us a thumbs up, give us that thumbs up, maybe subscribe. I hope you'll consider doing that. And then we'll see you next time. It's LD all day. Peace, love, forever and ever. Akula. See you
Abdullah.
next time.